Hey dog lovers, I'm Lisa the Holistic Groomer, and today I'd like to talk to you about seaweed and why you need to start feeding it to your dogs and yourself. So I have a lot to read here, so I'm going to get right to it, and all the information is going to be in the description. The description box. Why can I never say that? Okay, so seaweed. It's an ocean vegetable, right? It's packed with micronutrients, unique polysaccharides, and bioactive compounds that can enhance canine nutrition. Whether you're a raw feeder or a dog chef, your dog is going to benefit from this amazing superfood. It is a superfood. Unlike land plants, seaweeds absorb nutrients directly from seawater through their fronds. This gives them an exceptionally rich mineral content. In fact, seaweeds can accumulate over 50 essential elements from the sea, including iodine, calcium, magnesium, iron, zinc, and many trace minerals that both your dogs and yourself are probably lacking if you're only eating land foods. Even organically grown plants and free range, organically raised meats, they're still lacking in certain trace elements due to pollution and depleted soil. So adding seaweed is going to greatly benefit both you and your dogs. And I don't just mean kelp, okay? Seaweeds are classified into three major groups: brown, red, and green, and each has distinct nutritional profiles, and that's why just like everything else, I'm always telling you to rotate, right? And not always feed the same thing. It's the same with seaweeds. So an important thing I want to mention is iodine, because a lot of people are afraid to feed seaweed because of the iodine content. If you're worried about iodine, worry no more, because in whole seaweed, iodine exists mostly as iodide, bound within a fibrous matrix of algal tissue, along with proteins and polyphenols. This natural packaging slows the release of iodine during digestion. In fact, laboratory digestion studies have found that only a fraction of the seaweed's iodine content is bioavailable for absorption. A dog may absorb only about 1/4 or less of the iodine present in a piece of kelp, for example. By contrast, synthetic potassium iodide, which is what's put in your dog's kibble, is highly soluble and nearly 100% absorbable immediately. So, if there's a problem at the extruding plant and too much iodine gets in your dog's food, well, it has happened in the past. It's done a lot of damage. It's killed animals, things like that. So, okay, it's a rare occurrence, but still, some foods could have too much, could have way too much for your dog. All right, so natural iodine from seaweed tends to be gentler and more, with a more gradual uptake. It's one reason people in Japan traditionally consume iodine-rich seaweeds daily, far above Western amounts, with minimal thyroid issues. The iodine is released slowly and excess is excreted. However, this doesn't mean that you can just feed an unlimited amount of seaweed to your dog or to yourself. My mom was macrobiotic at a point in her life. She actually cured her own ovarian cancer by becoming macrobiotic. And a lot of what I know about foods come from her, from that period, and seaweed is one of them. Like every time they cooked their brown rice, they would put a little piece of kombu. And kombu, which I will explain in a moment, is the highest in iodine. But that's what they were looking for. They were looking for the iodine because they weren't using iodized table salt and things like that. Okay, so there are certain precautions. Certain dogs really shouldn't have seaweed, and those are now let me get this clear, that dogs with low thyroid function can benefit greatly from the addition of seaweed into their food. But if your dog is already on thyroid medication, suffers from hyperthyroidism, which is rare, but it does happen, has thyroid tumors, or has autoimmune thyroiditis, any of those conditions, and you need to check with your holistic vet before you feed seaweed. Another contraindication is for dogs on a low iodine diet. For example, if they're about to undergo a radioiodine treatment, prep, or certain medical tests, right? Then they can't have any seaweed during that time. So, you just have to always consult with your, and I say holistic vet because, well, you know why. You really need a holistic vet if you want to discuss, natural feeding. Okay, so now here's another great benefit of seaweed. If you've looked around my channel at all, you've seen that I have a few different dental videos. And as a groomer who is a former dental assistant and vet tech, I've always taken great interest in dogs' dental health. And perhaps the most remarkable canine benefit of seaweed is improved oral health. And they make, I have one right here, hang on. Here's a good example of the products they're making now to brush your dog's teeth with, or to put right on their food. It says, like, if you can't brush your dog's teeth, because that's definitely gonna be the best to get it right on there. But if you absolutely can't brush their teeth, you can just sprinkle this on their food. So this is made for dental cleaning. It's a dental cleaning powder for dogs, and yet it's made from a brown seaweed. Let's see, what is it? It's a specific brown seaweed, Ascophyllum nodosum. Ascophyllum nodosum. How's that? So, anyway, it's been clinically proven to reduce plaque and tartar buildup in your dog's mouth. There you go. All right, so also, here's another benefit. As a certified canine esthetician, which I am, I also have a great interest in skin and coat, right? So the broad mineral and vitamin content of seaweed contributes to healthier skin and shinier coats. Iodine and zinc support robust hair growth and skin integrity. And this is really important because I have recommended seaweeds to my grooming clients in the past when their dogs suffer from dry skin or alopecia. And seaweed also has omega-3 fatty acids. It's got all kinds of stuff in it that will benefit them, and they grow hair back like crazy. Gosh, well, you don't know what Hazel looked like when I rescued her, but she had like no hair and horrible tear stains, and she was already getting tartar on her teeth. She was a mess. But now, with good food, of course, yes, grooming, but still the good food, and she does get seaweed and all of that. She also was very itchy. Oh my gosh, all she did was scratch. She used to wake us up at night scratching. And that's another thing that seaweeds are being used for, to reduce skin inflammation and alleviate itching. So let's see, dogs with allergies will benefit from seaweed. Heart and digestive tract issues benefit from seaweed. The minerals in seaweed support healthy blood pressure, and the antioxidants protect blood vessels from damage. It's even been shown to improve insulin sensitivity in diabetic animals. So there you go. Now, not all seaweeds are created equal. Okay, so seaweeds are notorious bioaccumulators, meaning they not only absorb nutrients but also contaminants from water. So it's very important that you know where your seaweeds are coming. Don't just buy the cheapest seaweed that you can find, or go to the Asian store when you can't read any of the package or you can't talk to the owner maybe. You need to know where your seaweeds are coming from. Now, farmed seaweeds are a great way to protect biosustainability also, because from a conservation standpoint. But you know what? The sustainably harvested wild seaweeds are fine too. So you really need to know the company that's making it, and it should say on there somewhere, something about how it's harvested, and all of that. And if not, you can contact the company. So like here's the spirulina that I use, and it's certified organic, and yes, this is a good company, you know, to deal with. So I want to show you the different seaweeds that I use. Yes, I use spirulina. I use dulse. I use wakame. I use kombu, and I use nori. Okay, so I use all of them. And don't forget to check your supplements, because, like, for example, the Canine Complete that I sometimes give them has kelp in it. So you need to make sure you're not adding seaweeds and also adding supplements that contain seaweed, and maybe you're feeding a food that contains seaweed. It's almost always kelp, but you know, hey, that's seaweed. So what I do always, like right now I have the slow cooker going as usual for the dogs, and there's a seaweed in there, you know, so I always add it when I cook any grains for them. I add just a little, usually it's wakame, I add just a little bit of wakame in there. All the minerals will come out into the food. If I'm boiling sweet potatoes to add to their dinner, I throw a piece of kombu in there maybe, or a little bit of wakame, a piece of nori. Now here's an interesting thing about spirulina. If you have a grass eater, right? All of my dogs have been notorious grass eaters. Dogs do not eat grass to make themselves throw up because they're sick. They eat grass because they're looking for something that's missing in their diet, and then they can't help but throw up because grass is not their natural diet. It's barbed, and you know, they unless they're eating couch grass, or it's also called dog grass, you know, unless they're eating that, if they're eating other forms of grass, they're going to throw it up. So spirulina, very often when people start adding it to their dog's diet, the dogs stop eating grass or eat much less grass. Okay, spirulina also fights inflammation, inflammation of the skin, such as atopic dermatitis and eczema. So that's another reason why I recommend spirulina to a lot of my grooming clients. Okay, it's also good for inflammatory conditions like arthritis, colitis, irritable bowel. All right, so kombu, I already mentioned kombu. It's great for arthritis, but you don't want to overfeed this one because it is has the highest iodine content of all the seaweeds. So, you know, you might just want to skip that one. I really use that more for myself and my husband. Kombu, wait a minute, I already said that. Okay, dulse. Dulse is a really good one. Dulse is great for skin and coat. And if your dog needs energy, dulse is the one to add, right? Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't have caffeine, I assure you, and it doesn't have sugar, but there's something about it that just, yeah, dogs do very well on dulse. That's another one I recommend to my grooming clients. And of course, kelp. Kelp is what you'll find in most commercial supplements, and is being added to a lot of dog foods. It's great for dry skin, skin allergies, alopecia, metabolism, tissue repair, even flea control. So, it's also anti-inflammatory, anti-tumor, and anti-rheumatic, okay? So it's got a lot going for it. Now, I put in the description box a brief description of all the different seaweeds, all right? And dosage, okay? Because that's important, right? That's all in the description box. Daily dosage, like for example, daily dosage for all seaweeds is 1 gram. 1 gram equals 1,000 milligrams, right? So I don't know why I had to write that out. An 1/8 teaspoon for dogs under 10 pounds, right? So this is a daily dosage. An 1/8 teaspoon for dogs under 10 pounds, so your chihuahuas and stuff that weigh 6 pounds or whatever. A 1/4 teaspoon for dogs that weigh 10 to 25 pounds, a 1/2 teaspoon for 25 to 50, and 3/4 of a teaspoon for 50 to 75, and over 75 is a teaspoon a day they can have, all right? So you can just sprinkle it right on their food. You can use it in their cooked food. You don't have to worry about heating it. In fact, the more you cook it, the minerals come out of it. Yeah, so nori, I just want to mention, nori sheets. A lot of people have these laying around because they at one time wanted to make sushi, and then that never happened, or you know, they only used a few pieces of it, and they have this in in the pantry and they don't know what to do with it. Yes, you have to tear it up very small though, and like they have to be torn up. But if you let your dog eat a big chunk of it, it absorbs liquid like crazy, and it doesn't break down easily though. It kind of turns to a gel, and it can cause intestinal blockage, obstruction, right? If you don't break it small enough. So just tear it all up. Use scissors. That's what I do. I just cut it up with scissors. As long as it's small enough and you sprinkle it around the food or use it in the cooking, it's fine. Okay, so that's it. Oh, what else? Oh, yeah, I'm also putting 2 links in the description box. Great links that will tell you everything you ever wanted to know about seaweed for dogs. All right, so you'll have everything you need. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.